Here are your headlines. And pressure on the Prime Minister over the future of the HS2 rail line. Businesses call for certainty, while some politicians warn that the issue is derailing the Conservative Party conference.
A lightning strike causes a huge explosion at a food waste recycling plant in Oxfordshire. People living nearby are told to stay at home.
Decisions made in the early days of the pandemic will come under scrutiny today as the second part of the COVID inquiry gets underway.
Good morning. Rows breaking out at electric car charging points as one motorway service company says it's taking on marshals to deal with conflicts. We'll look at whether the network is struggling under the pressure.
In sports, tributes paid to one of Manchester City's all-time greats, Francis Lee, who enjoyed great success at the club in the late 60s and early 70s, who's died at the age of 79.
Food price inflation has fallen compared to the previous month, and that's for the first time in more than 2 years. Ben has been looking at the numbers for us because, Ben, although the rate of increase is slowing down, the prices are still going up, aren't they?
Yeah, it depends on what you compare it to. But let me explain. Fierce competition between supermarkets has led to the first monthly drop in food prices for more than 2 years. The important phrase there is monthly drop. It means, on average, prices came down in September compared with August. Not by much, down just 0.1%, but it does represent a move in the right direction. The British Retail Consortium said prices of dairy goods, margarine, fish and vegetables, often own brand lines, all fell in September compared with the month before. And it is an average, so some things will not have fallen, some things may even have gone up in price. And importantly, while the average price of food fell from 1 month to the next, from August to September, food prices are still significantly higher than they were a year ago. In September, food prices were 9.9% higher than in September last year. That is a slowing down from the rate that it was in August. But the takeaway from this, prices still rising compared with a year ago, just not as quickly as they were. OK, Ben, thank you. The Flying Scotsman is to undergo a full mechanical inspection after it was involved in a low-speed crash. The steam engine, which is celebrating its centenary year, collided with a train at Aviemore railway station in the Highlands on Friday. 2 people were treated in hospital as a precaution, and the Rail Accident Investigation Branch is now looking into it.
The Tory Mayor of the West Midlands, Andy Street, says cancelling the northern leg of HS2 puts at risk a, quote, once-in-a-generation levelling up opportunity. Downing Street has denied reports that Rishi Sunak has made a final decision on the line between Manchester and Birmingham. Labour says it shows the Tories are too divided to take the country forward. Medics have urged ministers to end a strike deadlock or risk NHS walkouts running into the winter. It comes in the middle of the longest ever joint strike by junior doctors and consultants in England. The British Medical Association are providing only emergency cover during the 3-day walkout, which began on Monday morning. Thames Valley Police say it's investigating harassment and stalking allegations made against the comedian Russell Brand. It's the second police force to confirm it's looking into claims against the comedian. 4 women accused Mr. Brand of sexual assault and rape in a joint investigation by the Sunday Times, The Times and Channel 4's dispatches.
Let's have a look at this morning's newspapers. We're going to start with the Metro. Their headline, it's Manc Robbery, paper focusing on the fury that the Greater Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham has expressed about the potential cancellation of HS2.
The Times this morning reports on the Pope backing the blessing of same-sex partnerships. The paper says he's given a cautious backing to the blessing of gay unions for the first time, saying they should be decided on a case-by-case basis.
Head judge of Strictly, Shirley Ballas, dominates the front page of The Sun. The paper claims her online troll terror has left her scared to leave her home.
And the front page of The Guardian this morning features an image of the actors Elle Fanning and Helen Mirren walking the runway for L'Oreal during Paris Fashion Week. Fancy one of those outfits on?
Definitely. I would actually quite like both of them.
We've got something equally spectacular as well, another image. Yeah. This is going to be exciting for stargazers. Look at this. A Jupiter-sized planet, free floating in space, unconnected to any star. These pictures have come from the James Webb Space telescope.
That's
Remarkable, aren't they?
beautiful.
Yeah.
It looks like an album cover.
It really
It's
does.
real.
You're right.
It's very, very beautiful.
You're right.
New planets we didn't know about, maybe.
And have you seen this story in the Mail today as well? You know, we've reported in the past, haven't we, about some companies going to a 4-day week?
Yes.
And staff feeling the benefits of that and saying that they're liking it. Well, one tech company called Crystal, an internet company in London, went to a 4-day week.
Yes.
They're going back to 5 days. Apparently, the boss says that staff are more stressed because they're having to compress 5 days' work into 4 days. Part-time workers across the country, whatever days they're working, will appreciate that.
Yes.
But they're saying, it completely backfired and they want to go back to normal.
I think the key is flexibility, isn't it? If you can choose your 4 days, great. But if 5 works better, that's great too.
He sent an email with that news to clients. I don't know which day he sent the email on, who's turning up this morning, but there we go, 21 minutes past 6.
Now let's take a look at today's front pages, shall we? And the Eye describes the opposition to the scrapping of the northern leg of HS2 as a rebellion on the Tory backbenches, which is growing. HS2 also leads the Metro with angry words from the Mayor of Manchester about pulling the plug on the north. But before the scrap is actually announced, the Financial Times says that Rishi Sunak is facing a storm of protest over the decision, which is expected to come in his speech to the party conference in Manchester tomorrow. The Guardian says that the issue is threatening to derail the conference itself. See what they did there? And the Express looks ahead to the PM's speech and says he'll make a series of bold announcements focusing on what is best for Britain. The Daily Mail, meanwhile, leads with comments by Business Secretary Kemi Badenoch that Britain is the best country in the world to be in if you're black. And the Telegraph says the Health Secretary is to announce the banning of transgender patients from women's wards in hospitals. And if you want to see any of those front pages again or read the stories, just scan the QR code on your screen.